Recalc 11, chapter 3, section 3, trigonometry again. So today we're going to look at special angles and the three regulations in exact form. Also the unit circle, which is very important. With the unit circle, just always remember the radius of the unit circle is 1. And then these are your points. So here the x value is 1 and the y value is 0. So basically this will be 1 and 0. This point here will be 0 and 1. This will be -1 and 0 since the x-axis on this side is negative. And here it will be 0 and -1 since the y-axis on this side is negative. So with the unit circle, if you want to find the sine, cos, tangent, just use the y over r, x over r, y over x. And as a matter of fact, with the unit circle, if I ask you what the sine is, you just look at the y. You don't even tell me the r. So you just look at the y value. If I want to know what sine 0 is, I just look at the y value right here. So it's 0. If I want to know sine 90, then I just look here and the y value is 1. So that's what you do with the quadrantal angles. We call them quadrantal because they fall right on the x-axis or the y-axis. So 0, 90, 180, 270, 360, they are quadrantal angles. So if I'm answering the first few questions here, the first one, sine 0. So look at the angle 0 right here. And the sine is the y value, so it'll be 0. The radius is always 1, so 0 over 1 is just going to be 0, and therefore sine 0 will be 0. Tan 90, so if you look at the tan is the y over the x. So if you look at the y is 1 and the x is 0, so it will be 1 over 0. And you know we cannot divide by 0, it's undefined. So tan 90 is undefined. Cos 180, so the cos is the x value, the radius is 1, so you don't have to worry about it with the unit circle. So you just look at the x value. So if you're doing cos 180, you just look at the x value, it's going to be -1. And sine 270, so the sine is the y value, the sine is the y value, the r is 1, so don't worry about it for the unit circle. So if you look at 270 right here, and you're trying to find the sine, you just look at the y value right here, and it's -1. So this is as far as the unit circle and the quadrantal angles. Quadrantal angles are the angles on the x-axis or on the y-axis. So if we move on to the next question, where they say find sine 120. This one here, you cannot just look at the 0, 90, 180, 270. You really have to draw the angle in standard position. So if I'm drawing this, 120 should be in this quadrant right here. So that is 120. Draw a vertical always. If this is 120, then the reference angle is 60. So if this is 60, then this is 30. So then you go look at your special angle triangles. Opposite to 60 is √3. So if you go from the 60 here, opposite to it is this side here, you make this √3 right there. The hypotenuse is 2, this is the hypotenuse, and the adjacent to 60 is 1. So if you look at 60 here, the adjacent to it is this side here, and it is going to be -1 since the x-axis here is negative, and therefore, if you're finding sine 120, it is going to be opposite over hypotenuse, so just going to be √3 over 2. So earlier in the chapter, it said the reference angle is an angle that you refer to so you could find things. And here, 120, if we draw the 120, then we draw the reference angle between the x-axis and the terminal arm, which is 60. Now I could label my triangle according to this one. These two triangles, you have to memorize them. And then once I label them, I'll be able to tell what sine 120 is. Yeah, cos 315. So I'm going to do the same thing, graph 315, and I'll do this a little bit. I'll make the picture a little bit clearer. My other one was a little bit fuzzy. 315, don't know, and this is 0, 90, 270, 270, and then 360. Then 315, if this is 360 and this 270, then 315 must fall in this quadrant right here. And then it's about here, 315. But what you need to do is graph your terminal on. So, and if this is 315, then to find out, and this is 360 right here, 360, 0, or 360. So if you want to know what that angle is, you just go 360 minus 315. It gives you what the reference angle is, as we studied earlier in the chapter. Now the reference angle is 45. You take a vertical to the x-axis there, and if this is 45, this is 90, then this is 45. We're dealing with this triangle right here. So if I label adjacent to 45 is 1, and opposite to it is 1, except it's going to be -1 here since the y-axis here is negative, and the radius is always positive. So, and here the radius or the hypotenuse in this situation is √2. So that's the special angle triangle of 45. If I'm finding sine 315, I just now look at this reference angle 45. Cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse, so it's going to be 1 over √2. If we're doing tan, 2tan, so I'm just going to graph that right here. So 2tan, you get a graph or plot the angle in standard position. And if you're looking at 2tan, it's going to be in this quadrant right here. So from here all the way around past 180 degrees is 210. And again, drive a vertical. This is 90. And you need to find the reference angle, and the reference angle here, if this is 210 and that, all the way to here is 180, you just go 210 minus 180. It gives you 30 degrees. So if that's 30 degrees, then this must be 60 degrees. And if you want to label that, opposite to 30 is 1. So opposite to the angle 30 is 1. It's going to be -1. The hypotenuse is 2. And then adjacent to 30 is √3. So this should be √3, but it's negative. Why negative? Because the x-axis here is negative. Why is this -1? Because the y-axis here is negative. And if you're doing tan 2tan now, you just look at the reference angle, that's 30 degrees. It's opposite over adjacent. And therefore, this is going to be -1 over -√3. And the answer would be 1 over √3. Or if you want to rationalize the denominator, just multiply top and bottom by √3 over √3. And you get √3 over 3 as your final answer.